Brought to you by Penguin.
A Place Called Home by Ellie Dean. Read by Julie Maisey. Chapter 1. September 1946. Dawn broke over the horizon and gilded the sails of the small fleet of fishing boats coming toward shore as the sprawling town of Cliffehaven slumbered in peace. The green slopes of the western headland gradually emerged from the night's dark shadows, and the white cliffs that towered above the eastern shore began to gleam as the squabbling seabirds circled the boats now anchoring on the shingle beach of the Horseshoe Bay. The golden haze flooded the huddled rooftops, slowly bringing into focus the gaping wounds of bomb craters and the shattered skeletons of once elegant buildings that had lined the promenade and high street. However, there were signs of regeneration in the new buildings, repaired streets and the clearance of bomb sites, and as the sun chased the shadows from the terraced Victorian villas that lined the steep hill climbing up from the seafront, it brought warmth to the fresh white stucco on the walls of Beach View. Proudly standing 3 stories above a basement and surrounded by the blasted rubble of its neighbours, Beach View no longer bore the ugly scars of war, for Peggy Reilly had been determined that her husband Jim would not return from the Far East to face the evidence that she and their small daughter Daisy had come perilously close to losing their lives. With the roof and chimney repaired, the lights sparked in the new window panes and gleamed on freshly painted woodwork. The new front door had stained glass panels at the top, a polished brass knocker and letterbox, and the whitewashed concrete steps leading up to it were once again whole, the replacement lanterns set into the short pillars at the bottom exuding a sense of quiet elegance. As the light slowly penetrated through the glass panels to the entrance hall, it sent a rainbow of colours over the polished blue and red Victorian floor tiles, and the white paint of the walls and banisters of the staircase, where Cordelia Finch's stairlift waited, and brass rods gleamed against the dark red of the new carpet. In the large front bedroom on the first floor, Peggy's eyelids fluttered open to the distant sound of the milkman's Shire horse clip-clopping along Camden Road, and Jim's gentle snoring. The snoring was a sound she'd missed for 6 years, and to hear it now was a balm to her soul. She lay there, snug and sleepily content in the big bed that had for so long felt empty, revelling in the warmth and solidity of the man beside her. Her darling Jim. The man she'd loved with a passion from the moment they'd met, the man she'd waited for during the long and terrifying war years, and who, thank the Lord, had finally come home to her and their children. How she adored him. How lucky she was that their love had seen them through the dark days of separation and become more profound now he was home. He was her rock and her best friend, and although there were times when he exasperated her, she could forgive him anything. Not wanting to disturb him, she turned onto her side so she could watch him sleeping. His broad back was still deeply tanned from the tropical sun, the muscles in his arms and torso clearly defined, and now his hair was longer, it curled enticingly into his nape and behind his poor damaged ear. Peggy was tempted to run her fingers through those dark curls, but managed to resist. Jim had actually slept through the night for a change, and she didn't want to wake him. Peggy eyed the ugly scar tissue where the shrapnel had been removed from his back, and quickly pulled the bedding over it. She didn't need any reminders of how close he'd come to being killed and lost to her forever. She nestled against him as the sun found a chink between the brocade curtains and filled the bedroom with golden light. It was so lovely to have the sun in the mornings, after all those years of chilly dawns in the small dark.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?